Now, gardening doesn't have to drain your bank account. With a little bit of creativity, you can grow a productive garden without spending a fortune. Now, in today's video, I'm excited to share some budget-friendly garden tips that can enable you to have a thriving garden without spending a fortune. Now, make sure that you stay until the end of the video. You will see that gardening on a budget is not only effective, but also very much fun. So let's dive right into it. Now, let's start with containers. Now, most vegetables can be grown in containers, and containers are great for gardeners with small space or those gardeners who are growing food on a balcony. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on expensive containers. Almost anything can be repurposed and be used to grow food. This includes old tins, old barrels, even plastic bottles can be cut in half, and that can work perfectly well also to grow food. The most important thing is just to make sure that your containers that you are repurposing have enough drainage holes so that excess water can be expelled from the container, and also to prevent the roots of your plants to get rotten. So the opportunities are endless, and with a little bit of creativity, you can repurpose any item to grow your own food. Next up, we will discuss how to start seeds on a budget. Now, many gardeners make use of seed trays, and that can work perfectly well. But if your budget is tight, you can always use different options to make your own DIY seed starting pot. Now, the newspaper pots are a classic DIY option. All you need is newspaper and a can or a bottle to roll the newspaper over. So firstly, you will fold the newspaper in half. Then you will roll the newspaper, I'm using a can, over the newspaper. And then you just tuck in the lower ends at the bottom. And there you have yourself a biodegradable pot. So you can start seedlings in this newspaper pot. And once your plants are ready to be transplanted, you can just transplant the whole newspaper pot, and as time progresses, it will break down naturally. Toilet paper rolls are also another classic and a fantastic option, especially for crops like peas and beans, which don't like their roots to be disturbed. So, all you need to do is to make a few small cuts at the bottom of the toilet paper roll, fold them in, and there you have yourself again another steady little pot that you can use to start some seeds. Just like with the newspaper pot, you can just bury the whole pot once your seeds are ready to be transplanted. Now, let us also not forget the egg boxes. They are also perfect for small seeds like beets and leafy greens. And just like any other biodegradable item, that once your seeds are ready to be transplanted, you can transplant the whole paper pot, and the box will decompose over time. Now, when you start your seedlings, it's also important to label your seeds, especially if you start a lot of seeds at the same time, because sometimes you can forget which crops you have planted in a specific container. So instead of buying seed labels, you can actually make your own seed labels by just making use of an old yogurt tub. So first thing that you have to do is just make sure that you cut off the ring of the cup. After that, you can then cut little strips like this. Once you have done that, you can then cut them off, and there you will have your labeling, your own seedling labels. You can then use a pen and you can write and label your seeds without spending money on buying labeling tags. So this is also another budget-friendly way where you can use items that you already have to make your own DIY labeling tags, and they can last you for many seasons. Yeah. Since the quality of your vegetables are dependent on the quality of the soil, it's important to put a lot of soil improvers like fertilizers and compost into your garden, and that can actually increase your cost. But there are ways that you can actually cut those costs down. And one of the ways is to actually make your own compost. So you can make your own compost by piling up kitchen scraps, fruit and vegetable peels, and even garden waste. You can turn the waste, keep it moist, and make your own compost. I'm making use of a compost bin that I got through the City of Cape Town's home composting program. So if you're in the City of Cape Town, you can definitely check out if they are still running that program. But making your own compost and using a compost bin can be a great way to reduce costs for your garden. Another option is to make use of wheat tea. Now, as the name implies, liquid fertilizer made out of wheat tea is just that. You make use of the weeds that are already in your garden. All you need is a bucket. You toss all the wheat that you have into the bucket. You fill it with water and let it stand for a couple of weeks. Now, the nutrients from the wheat will eventually leach into the water and will then create a powerful liquid fertilizer. You can then strain and dilute the liquid as you see fit, and then water your plants with this liquid fertilizer. So this method is quick and very effective. Now, leaf mold is also another low-cost soil improver. So if you have excess leaves or you have trees, you can definitely use these leaves, put them in a corner of your garden. You collect all the leaves and let them decompose in your garden corner. Another way is to stuff all the leaves into a black plastic bag. You can make some holes, put some water in it, and let it sit for a couple of months. Now, it's important just to keep in mind that this is a slow process. The compost might take 4 to 6 months. Liquid fertilizer or liquid tea might take a couple of weeks. But since the leaf mold is a long process, it can take up to 12 months. So it's just to take note that this is a low-cost option, but it takes much longer. So just to show you, I have two setups here for the leaf mold. I have one in this composting bag, and you can see it is decomposing quite nicely, and I've also made one in the plastic. So it's just to be patient, and your patience will definitely pay off because the results will be amazing once your leaf mold is ready to be used in the garden. Now, here's another option to save costs, and that is to grow from your pantry. So items like potatoes that sprout, that can always be used in your garden. You can plant the sprouted potatoes into your garden. By converting those potatoes and using them in your garden can be a great way of actually saving some of your costs. Now, other items like seeds from tomatoes or peppers that you have can definitely also be a great way to save seed. You can plant also the beans. If you have extra beans, many gardeners have indicated that they have managed to grow from beans, seed from tomatoes, from peppers. All those items can definitely be also a great way for you to save some money and just make use of what you already have. Now, another way is that if you already have some plants in your garden, you can definitely allow some of the plants to go to seed, and then you can then harvest the seed once the items have already flowered. So the first step will be the plant will flower, and after that it will create seeds. Those seeds can be harvested, and then you can use that always in the next season. In my garden, I currently have some Aragon peas. They are peas that are used for drying, so I will be harvesting these peas soon. And then I will also be using some of these peas for my winter garden. And that is harvesting and seeds, or allowing some plants to go to seed, is also another way for you to saving some costs. Now, lastly, you should not overlook seed swapping. If you got extra seeds, it's always wise to maybe share it with some friends and some other growers in your community. By doing so, you will be saving costs, and you will also avoid wastage where seed will go to waste. And another benefit of being part of doing seed swapping is that you can find amazing varieties that you haven't tried, and that can also be a great way for you to build a community. So there you have it. I believe these are practical, budget-friendly tips that prove that you don't have to spend a big budget to reach your gardening goals. If you have any other tips on how to save money in the garden, please share with us in the comments. And until next time, keep on sowing and growing.